All
Okay,
right.
so
I will.
last
I will recap briefly.
beautiful.
Yes, please. I forgot everything.
No bother. Give me a second just to make sure the stream's up, which it is. Lovely, lovely. Let me watch myself so I feel like I'm loved. There we go. So, what happened last time was... This music is way too intense, but I love it. You were in... You were in this bar. You were here speaking to Professor Shin and Boris, who were extremely intoxicated when you spoke to them.
Thank you, kind sir.
And you what did we do again? I've forgotten. You spoke to them briefly about Serena's missing husband. You spoke to Boris about not very much. He just laughed and made fun of TikToks. There was a band in the background that were playing music, which Sadeko gave a little bit of props to. Thank you for the follow, Kendall Rose. And you also went through the desert at some point, rejecting an alien hunt from some guy with a lunatone. And you also went through a training montage with knowledge, strength, and integrity man in his dojo in the desert, if you remember. Mm-hmm. And it ended with Serena talking to Professor Shin about the possible location of her husband, and she says she may have some idea on that regard. And that's where we ended, in this bar, essentially.
Okay, so what did Professor Shin say to me? Like,
what she said was that your husband was, the last time that she spoke to him, he was going to Frack City, which is a city in the east of the region, and he was investigating the legendary Pokemon Jirachi.
got it. What? He is?
Well, that's what he told her.
Oh. I did not remember that.
Well, that's because it happened right at the end. So.
Oh damn. We do. Okay.
You're in a bar. There is music blasting. Shin and Boris are on the... Well, they were on the pints until you give them some water. And they're calming down a little bit and sobering up. Whoa. Okay. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go from here?
I'm not going to hand her these shadow Pokemon until she's sober.
That's fair. That's completely fair. I'm going to cheat with the music because it's way too hype. So, I think as well, Sadek, you had a conversation briefly with Boris about his situation with the Shadow Salazzle that you had got at one point, and he just explained, like, he was selling it, that was what he was doing, he had no other involvement in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Who had that conversation?
You had that conversation, or someone had that conversation. I think it might have been you with Boris.
It might have been me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he didn't even know who we were yet.
Well, someone definitely asked him about it, because I'm remembering.
Oh no, that was Red that asked him about it.
Yeah,
but
someone definitely asked him.
I don't know. He was like, "Oh yeah, somebody stole us." He didn't say like, he just said like somebody stole us a Salazzle that
that's
I was
what it was.
Trying to sell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
So he doesn't know who we are yet, but he said somebody stole it.
Yeah, he doesn't know you have it, but he knows that someone's stolen it.
Okay.
And they're both still pretty drunk, but they're on the water.
I mean, no one in this group looks that normal. How does he not remember?
I look pretty normal.
He didn't really get to see you. If you recall, the last time you seen this man, he briefly saw Red before getting kicked in the balls and literally beat the shit out of him.
Fair enough. I just mean we all have Protec hair, so I was like...
Oh yeah, of course. He's like, damn, you must be the main characters, of course. Oh, Serena's not here in the thing, but let me sit 1 sec. I'm gonna put this on. I'm actually just too bothered thinking about the music. But in the background, you can see basically just a whole bunch of people watching this like performance of basically a man with a fucking with like a band full of just Pokemon. There's a Rillaboom who's playing the drums. There's a Chingling who's literally just a little bells. There's a Cricketune who's playing like a violin, and there's a Chatot who's literally the backup singer for this guy playing the guitar. And it's just like a pretty decent vibe.
Sadeko's like just kind of, he'll like occasionally just kind of look over at the guy like with big eyes.
Thank you very much,
He's really
Porky
into
Man.
it.
Yeah, he is shredding it, for lack of a better word. What do you want to do? Do you want to hang around for a bit, see what's going on? Do you want to explore a bit of
Does
town?
Boris recognize me?
Boris never seen you because you were you were
I was
Plant?
a fucking trash can.
yeah, you were
Okay,
trash
cool.
can. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was nervous.
Yeah, he doesn't recognize you, and he definitely doesn't. He's also pretty drunk, so it would be unlikely that he remembered you, to say the least. So
Alright, cool.
pretty
Alright,
much the
so we Gucci.
options. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We Gucci then.
Mm-hmm. So Professor Shin's like, do you guys want to like get more of that clear alcohol that you just give me? It tasted like water. It was like so easy to drink. Like, are we gonna get more in, or are we like, are we gotta go to bed? Like, what are we doing? Is the night young? She's looking at all of you and like with her arms out.
I'll
The
go
night
get
is
another
never
round
young.
of water.
I think she should get some
alcohol.
rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so her house is basically in the, like, she lives in the lab essentially. Like, she has like her house and like attached to it, if you will. You can bring her back there if you want.
Yeah.
Yes, Sadeko
Should we
will
I'm
take
walk her home.
Boris back as well?
Boris is like, I got my own place to stay. I'll catch up
He
with.
sleeps on that couch.
He just like puts his head down. I know he's like, I'm staying at a hotel. I'm sorted. I'll come chat to my new best friend later. And he pats Shin on the like shoulder. He's like, I'll see you tomorrow. And he leaves.
Alrighty, cool.
Okay, so let's
Hopefully
just say you pick her up and bring her back to the lab. That all happens without any kind of hitch. And you wanna, it's pretty late into the night at this point. You were traveling through the desert. It was like basically like a whole day journey. It's pretty late into the night. You just wanna like, she offers Professor Shin's like, oh, you guys can stay here. She offers you to sleep in the lab if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Let's just time skip to here, and it's the morning.
Morning.
Like, oh, don't, too loud. Don't do that.
Oh, so while she's still sleeping, could like Serena have made everybody breakfast?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so she made everybody breakfast so that way Professor Shin. Oh, and a special drink for Professor Shin to cure hangovers.
She's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I need this, and she just gulps the whole thing down.
Is it more booze?
No.
It's a Bloody Mary, that's what it is.
It's the clear alcohol that she had
to
before.
help her feel better.
Okay, perfect. And she's like, look, I think I'm in a bit more of a fit state of mind to talk at the minute. And she's like, what have you? She looks at Sadeko first and is like, I briefly talked to Serena last night. You were telling me like, what have you found? You obviously you're on your task to go to Pyrite Town and see what the deal was with the Shadow Pokemon. How's things come along? Well, or not Shadow Pokemon, the aggressive Pokemon. Sorry, that I don't know what they're about yet. How's that going?
He won't say anything. He'll just kind of reach down to his bag and pull out the belt full of shadow Pokemon.
Full of balls, yeah. And she's like,
Full of my ball belt.
like, oh, what is this them? Did you find some?
On quite a few of them. It's a lot worse than I think we thought it was initially.
That's not good. And she like looks down and is like, was there anything that like did you know where they came from? Like, do you have any kind of indication at all?
He'll hand her so he had like notes in a laptop. He'll
Mhm.
give those to her and say it's all there.
what? And she's like, oh my goodness, we're gonna have to look at this. And she calls over like one of her like assistants like nearby, and is like, you need to get on this now. And she like gives it to him, get him to look at it. And she's like, what else? Like, do you learn anything else about these? Like are they just aggressive, or is there sort of like it's situational, or is it just constant?
We learned like what they are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the aggressive Pokemon.
No, I mean like we learned that they are like
Shadow
the
Pokemon.
old shadow Pokemon, like
Yeah.
the same kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he'll explain that they're like the same thing that happened 60, 70 years ago, whenever that was.
Yeah, it was about
Mhm.
60 odd years ago. And he's like, this isn't good at all. And she goes over to like a bookcase and pulls out like it's this like big thick ass book that it just looks so out of the normal. Like it doesn't look like anything else there. It looks like nearly like ancient sort of thing, like easily over 100 years old. And she pulls it out and goes, I think this is our best shot. She's like, I am briefly aware of the shadow Pokemon. I'm briefly aware of what they were and what they are. It's a bit of a in the past. And she points out about there's this relic that was used back in the day. It's located in a gut forest, and it's like they say it's linked to the legendary Pokemon Celebi, and Celebi can cure and purify the hearts of any Pokemon willing to be cured. And she's like, this is what we need to get information on. This is what we need next. And she looks at Sadeko and is like, the next thing I want you to do, if you're still willing to work with me, is to go here and get more information about this relic. And she shows you a picture. It's almost like it's nearly like a big sphere with like made up of different like slabs of block, like like how an igloo is made up of different slabs of like bricks. Like, do you know how an igloo like looks?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but in more of a cylinder. I said sphere, I meant cylinder, like a big cylinder with different slabs. She's like, this is it. And it's like looks like a really old drawing of it that she shows you. It's like, this is said to be a shrine where Celebi hangs around and like leaves like its energy, if you will. And it's been known in the past that the savior of like the guy from the 60 odd years ago who stopped this originally, this is what he used to try and purify all the Pokemon. Is that something that you're willing to do?
And this is the forest like to the northwest, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
For reference,
Yeah.
it's up here.
Yeah, it's up there. He'll say, I mean, obviously, like this is he doesn't have anything else to do. He'll say, he'll kind of look at Red and say, there might be something to help in the meantime, and he'll ask her to show Potato. Potato, right?
Potatoes, sir.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. It's a plural.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I'll probably forgive you.
Are you gonna
the super Psyduck.
Bring out
Mhm.
potatoes. I imagine he just plops on the ground.
And she's like, okay, yeah, it's a Psyduck. What about it? Like, I've seen many of these. It's nothing new to me.
Fucking beautiful, that's what.
Like,
Could
yeah.
I send out one of the shadow Pokemon and demonstrate, or just tell her?
Oh yeah.
Bring out one.
Do we want to go big
Poochyena.
balls, or should I just?
Just bring out Poochyena.
Mightyena, maybe.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Mightyena.
I'll let Mightyena out and see if Psyduck does his thing.
Okay. So you throw out the Mightyena, I guess, like in front of you or like near Psyduck.
over here.
Okay. So you throw out the Mightyena, and Professor Shin watches as this Mightyena comes out, and it comes out and it's like like proper aggressive growling. That was really good.
Mhm.
And she's like, and she's like startled by how like aggressive it is, but as it comes out, it just locks eyes with Psyduck, and then it just calms down. It just looks directly into the Psyduck's eyes, and like nearly as if they're like in trance, just staring at each other.
I'll return the Mightyena.
She's like, what is this Psyduck? It's like that the thing looked unbelievably abnormal, like aggressive. Like, what did it do? Where did you find this Psyduck?
Well, Mela, we found it. It was doing that, but with a Golisopod. Mela,
Serena.
you did her thing. Serena, sorry, did her thing, and apparently it's got some kind of innate ability to calm shadow Pokemon.
She looks up the Psyduck and it gives it like a little look up and down. She's like, what an interesting creature. What an interesting thing. And she like gives him a little pat on the head and like ruffles his little hair, I guess. He has like hair. She's like, this is
Like one feather.
You mean his feathers?
yeah, it's feathers. He's a duck. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
One little feather.
And she's like, this is interesting. It's like, maybe it's obviously I can't tell, but it must be some sort of like just calming mechanism, because she like explains a little bit more about like how Psyduck like functions as a Pokemon. She's like from what I know of the Psyduck, like they generally suffer from extremely bad headaches, and that's why they always like their hands are always on their head because they're trying to soothe themselves. Like it must be something, whatever method the Psyduck's using to soothe itself, it must be sort of emitting that that same technique onto what the shadow Pokemon, and it must be soothing them as well. Like that's all. Like she's like, that's a hypothesis. All I can think of. Like that's certainly interesting.
I mean, at the very least, he can help you study them while we figure it out.
And she looks at Red as like, are you willing to let me keep Psyduck?
I would prefer not to lose him, but I understand this is important.
He's like, what I can do is I'm sure you're familiar with how, like Pokeballs are quite easily transferable, and I can keep him, but if you ever need him, I can send him to you. Just give me a call. And she like, I assume one of you have some sort of phone. Let's pretend you do. I feel like Red.
We've been over this like 8 times. We never get an answer.
Yeah.
Like, do we have cell phones?
She's like, I'll give you one. She gives you a phone.
I'll trade you for this.
I'll trade you a phone
it?
for a
Murder
Psyduck.
cell phone.
What was
Like
that,
in
sir?
Pokemon Gold and Silver, the Poke Gear, where you could like put numbers and call people.
That's what I was thinking we had, but since it's like a little in the future,
Yeah.
that would kind
But
of
do
make
we
things
have, like,
really
the
super
Rotom?
easy.
Like that.
She
Yeah.
get
All in one Rotom.
I know what you're talking about, but I feel what she's gonna give you like a pretty like standard like
Like a Nokia.
no it's no like just like a touchscreen like a BlackBerry. No she just gives you like a generic ass phone that you can make phone calls on and like use the internet if you have to, like basically like a basic ass iPhone. He goes, here, take this if you don't have one. If you need me.
How have we been living without these phones?
We have each other.
That's true.
Oh.
Wow.
I imagine Red has never held a phone, so she's like, "What the fuck is this?"
He's like, it's
Yeah, Red lives in the woods until this.
yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
why do you have me a rock?"
I do have a question though. What's it called? I still have that Marowak that I stole from the lady because she was treating it horribly.
Mhm.
Is there a way that I can ask the good doctor here to help me increase its likeness towards me?
And she's like, you want me to give you friendship advice?
Yes.
He's like, well, it's gonna be difficult if you've physically taken a Pokemon from its trainer, even if you said they were treating each other badly. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to just communicate with it and give it food, give it stuff that people like. It's like they're just animals. Like just treat them like how you would any other animal. Give them food, give them pets, give them affection, and it'll come. It won't be instant, but it'll come.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other animals? Are there other things besides Pokemon?
Yes.
Oh shit!
We had,
I don't know.
unrelated to this, I've had this discussion before with Matt, definitely, and I went on the internet. I was like, "Here's an episode of the anime where Ash is looking at fish that aren't Pokemon, so fish are real."
Just imagine that's their cryptid videos.
Yeah.
Just fish.
Yep.
But yeah, there's also like an episode where there's like other animals, but unrelated. You know, it is what it is. There are other animals, confirmed. You don't think like they eat fish all the time? You don't. They're not eating any kind of
They're eating
Pokemon.
Magikarp.
It's well, fun fact: Magikarp actually tastes very disgusting, and it's very tough to break through. says that one episode of the anime where they try to eat one. Oh god, I hate my life. Anyway.
I was gonna say, Chaos, when Sudeko trains him,
Yeah.
maybe we can work something out where you get some bonus friendship if you join us.
Yes, I would love to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna lean down next to Sidek and ask him, "What do you want to stay here?"
He just like tilts his head and just like sigh. He just doesn't know. He's not really sure. He sort of looks between you and Shin, and he just doesn't know.
So you can just send them to me anytime?
It's like, yep, I can send him to you anytime.
Alright, just treat him well. Treat him like the prince he is.
He's like,
You
oh,
bugged that
I
boy.
will. I will. And
Okay.
she like asks you for the Pokeball, obviously, so she can put him away.
How many Pokeballs do we
Oh
give her?
no,
We
you
give
don't
her all
put
of
him
them, right?
away.
It's like, well, you know, at some point I still have to have the ball to send them to you as well. Like I can't throw them to you.
It's fine, but let him be him. Don't restrict him.
Okay.
Hands
Yeah.
over the Pokeball.
Yeah. I'll you do you, King.
He is good boy.
She's like, yes, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this. And then she looks at Sadeko as well. It's like, I guess can you leave some of these shadow Pokemon with me? Is it just the Mightyana you have, or do you say you find more?
What do we have? We have a
think we have almost-
Salazzle, we have a Mightyana,
And
a
a Galissapod.
Listopod. Just
think-
those three, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
flicking
then-
through everyone's to make sure. It's like, yeah, you gonna give them all to her?
Yeah, all the shadow Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah.
She takes them and she's like, thank you. I will let you know. And what the situation is with this. And then what she does is, you can't see it on this map, but there's like an elevator that goes down, and she's like, if you wouldn't mind coming with me briefly, I want to show you what I'll be trying to do. And
Okay.
you go down this elevator,
Mhm.
and you get to this like underground facility, which is like this amazing huge open field with like ponds and like you know, different like biomes is the word I'm going to use, but I don't know the actual word for it. I'm just thinking of Minecraft.
Biomes.
Habitats, that's the word I'm looking for. Different, like, you know, like there's a bit of a swamp there. It's like this is like an artificial ground that we used to have that was really came in handy years and years ago. It's been in this laboratory for over 60 years. It was whenever we had no wild Pokemon in the region, and this is what they wanted to do to try and, you know, get it going. This used to be a place to breed and you know, let Pokemon thrive before we released them into the wild. And she's like, obviously it's not been needed in the past, you know, 40 odd years, and this is the perfect opportunity to use it again. I'm gonna let the aggressive Pokemon out at, you know, at certain times, and I'll work with them and see if I can, you know, open their hearts, if you will, and make them, you know, you make them just have a better time and not be so mean. It's like,
Sure.
like, what do you think? Like, do you think this is a good idea? Like, have you had much experience with them? Like obviously I've only seen the one with, you know, the one Mightyana there, and then with Psyduck. Like, are they aggressively strong, or like, what's the
Yeah,
situation
they're
like?
aggressively strong.
They are
Yeah.
aggressively strong, but they've also been tortured, and I imagine just being in a safe place will kind of get them there naturally eventually.
Like that.
I think if you have potatoes, you won't have any problems.
I was like, what? Oh yes, the side up. She's like, yes, sorry, the
My
side
brain
up.
was like, what the
Yeah,
fuck are
just
you talking
vegetables.
Like, okay, yes.
Just keep some carbs in your diet. You're good.
You'll get hungry. It's like, okay, yeah, that's good to know. What I'll do is I'll give you updates. You know, I'm sure you're interested to some degree. You said they've experienced torture. I don't know how close you've got to all these Pokemon, but I'm sure you'll be keen to know what the situation is with them. And she's sort of like, right, we need to get this sorted. If it gets any worse than this, it's gonna be a nightmare. And she's like, I'll get my researcher to have a look at the notes and everything that you've sent to me, and hopefully we can crack this. And if I do get anything, I will ring you on your magical box that I've that Red, I guess, is holding, looking at.
It's like it's a fucking rock. I don't know what this is.
It's like, great. And she looks at Serena. It's like, Serena, we briefly spoke last night. I think I was a little bit intoxicated, to say the least. I apologize. And she's like, you were telling me about Reese and he's been kidnapped. Like, have you heard from him at all?
No, I mean, I got a letter. One of his Pokemon found me, Yamask, and there was a letter, and then I show her the letter. But I still can't help but worry because it's unlike him to just disappear like that.
Like, yeah, you know, I've worked with him in the past, and he is pretty, you know, I wouldn't expect that of him either. And she's like, when we spoke, you know, it wasn't. He was telling, like, obviously I know he doesn't spend that much time researching individual Pokemon, but I found it a little bit strange that he was looking into Jirachi as well as like itself. And she goes and she's like explains a little bit about the Pokemon. It's like Jirachi is only known to like appear every 1,000 years. It's some people don't even know if it's real, to the how, you know, infrequently it appears. And she's
Right,
like,
I remember the stories.
yeah, and she's like, I don't know why he's looking into it. Like, maybe there's rumors. I really couldn't
What
tell
kind
you.
of rumors?
Like, she's like, it's very possible. Like, Jirachi tends to, because of the whole amount of time that it's, you know, that it's hibernating, it tends to be deep underground. It's like there's a little rumor that a lot of the massive holes in the ground that you've been noticing possibly over the regions might be people searching for Jirachi, but it's a load of crap. Like, it's a load of nonsense. They think like if they found it, they wouldn't even be awake anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, even you can technically find it, but it'll be asleep, and you won't be able to do anything. The whole thing with Jirachi is it's a wish granter, and it'll grant you one wish, and then it'll go dormant for another 1,000 years. But that's what the legends say. That's if it's even real.
But why would he want to find this magical wishing Pokemon?
That's what I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know either.
Well,
But I
maybe
just want to
he's
know
not
where
the one
he
looking
is.
for it.
Hmm.
Maybe he's not the one looking for it.
Yeah, maybe.
And Shin sort of pops in and is like, maybe these people that kidnapped them are making him look for it.
Who? What? Like, I want to know who kidnapped him and why.
She's like,
Well, we don't know.
I understand, but like, how? What are the steps to take? Like, I feel like I'm at a wall.
She says she is like, look, the last time I spoke to him, he told me he was going to Frack City, and maybe he's still there. I don't know if that's where his research brought him, or if that's where he just happened to be. But I think that would be your best shout to go.
Our only shot.
I'll put the map up for you. It's on the far right here.
Frack City.
Frag City, bitch. She's like, look, that's the last I heard of him. I apologize, and I understand it's not a.
Oh, you don't have to apologize. I appreciate your help and information. One step closer, I hope.
And she looked around at everyone and was like, look, I Sadeko worked for me. I appreciate all you guys helping him out. I assume you are his friends or, you know, three randomers that he's just found. And she like, giggles to herself. And she goes, and she sort of looks around and is like, well, I was gonna pay Sadeko for his work, but I guess you guys all helped him out. And she hands you each 3,000 bucks.
I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich.
You said 3,000, right?
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I am rich.